I'm recording this well before the closed beta launches on April 20th, so bear with me here. So a while back, I was beyond stoked for Crash Team Rumble. Man, how times have changed. Now, before we start jumping to conclusions, at least hear me out, because truth of the matter is, I want to be excited for this game. Hell, I was when they first revealed it, and the passing months have left me with nothing but cautious optimism. So what happened between the initial release and where we are today? Well, a number of things. For starters, let's talk about what this game even is, because that was one of the biggest mysteries surrounding Crash Team Rumble. We had no idea how to identify this game other than being a 4 vs 4 game where we're all running around collecting Rumpa Fruit. Well, I do know what this game isn't, and this is something even the developers were quick to tell us. But let's talk about what that actually defines. At face value, Crash Team Rumble is a 4 vs 4 multiplayer game with a heavy emphasis on online play. I'm gonna come back to this in a bit. And what's most apparent, the whole game takes place in a giant battle arena. I mean, that has to be what defines a MOBA, right? You don't have to be League of Legends or Pokemon Unite to figure out what's going on. The only real difference is we have platforming elements to tie in with Crash Bandicoot's playstyle. But if the developers are telling us that's not the case, then, you know, who are we to fight them on that? But that's perhaps the least of my concerns. Let's get a few positives out while we're at it, because this is where most of my optimism stems from. The gameplay is great. From the footage that's been making the rounds, the gameplay is definitely there. There looks to be a lot of strategy as to how exactly you go about collecting Wumpa Fruit. You can attack each other on the battlefield, you can activate gem pads to give your team that special boost, you can use relics to activate hazards surrounding the stage. It's all really good stuff, and I can definitely see myself playing this with friends or Crash fans alike. I could be on a team with someone and just focus on breaking boxes and collecting Wumpas while everyone else is fighting each other off or activating whatever hazards lie on display. There's tons of potential, and for that, I love it. And of course, we have a whole bunch of cosmetics to play around with, some of them being directly brand new and some carried over from Crash 4, which reminds me, there needs to be a system in place where we can have all the Crash 4 skins unlocked from the get-go. That I can get behind. So what has me worried about Crash Team Rumble? Well, let's get the big one out of the way. When news reports started dropping for this game back in March, one of the first things we learned right off the bat is that Crash Team Rumble is going to have a battle pass system. And my immediate response was, huh? Like something's not adding up here. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know jack about live service games, nor do I play games like this on the regular, if at all. But if I've learned anything from simple observation, games like this tend to have predatory practices that do not go unnoticed. Like, it's one thing to have a system like this in the first place, but I feel there's a fine line. Talk to anyone who's played Fortnite or Overwatch and tell me who doesn't bring up loot boxes or spending money on V-Bucks. Cause if I'm understanding this correctly, that's just the nature of these games. And as far as games that use this practice, battle passes tend to be pretty costly, even more than the actual game itself. Like, it'd be one thing if this were free to play, but that's just not the case here. I've expressed my concerns to many people I've talked to about Crash Team Rumble. I've heard some pretty reassuring things in the process. All the unlockables in the game are purely cosmetic, the battle pass tiers will offer tons of unlockables, and you can earn everything by just playing the game. And I'm really hoping I can trust that going into this game, but you never know. I hope more than anything that we get to do all this without having to spend a single cent. Let's look at Nitro Fueled as an example. This game had a live service system in place that incentivizes collecting Wumpa coins, but you have so many options at your disposal that anyone with half a brain could get past this system without having to pay for Wumpa coins in the first place. Really goes to show how utterly pointless the microtransactions really are. I want to see Crash Team Rumble have a system like this, but whether or not that'll hold up remains to be seen. We got till June to see exactly how this game plays out. Actually, the wait isn't even that far off because the closed beta is coming around next week. So despite everything I've talked about, I'm still willing to give Crash Team Rumble a fair shot. I want this game to prove me wrong. I want this game to give me that same hook Nitro Fueled gave me. I want that incentive to keep coming back to this game no matter what, because this game is shaping up to be a really fun time. And this is what I want more than anything. Thank you all so much for listening. This is Miss Dan signing out, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.